We're here on a rainy, windy morning at Animal Kingdom to share with you our absolute best lightning lane secrets, including some that we've never shared before. I can't believe that actually worked. Let's go do it. Hi, hello everybody. This is Rob with Ear Scouts coming to you from Disney's Animal Kingdom. It's a little bit soggy and rainy this morning, but that's actually perfect for this video because it's going to allow me to share with you our very first secret. And that is that lightning lanes are a lot easier to book when it's rainy out, and you can sometimes get some other special perks. For example, if there's lightning accompanying that rain, during the time that you have your lightning lane booked, if it's an outdoor attraction, that attraction is going to shut down, which is going to mean that you're going to get what Disney calls an experience redemption, what I like to call a bonus lightning lane. Essentially, this is a lightning lane that you can use on a whole list of attractions, including the one that you got it for, at any point during your day. So you're no longer stuck to that window of time that you have booked. For this reason, when it's rainy, it can sometimes make sense to book some outdoor attractions, which is exactly what we did this morning. We booked Kilimanjaro Safaris and Expedition Everest for right at park open. Now, my hope was that there was going to be some lightning maybe, and that would make those attractions go down, which would immediately give us those bonus lightning lanes and let us book something new, because that essentially frees up those slots. So if you had 2 bonuses at the beginning of the day, you could actually have 5 lightning lanes waiting for you to use. Unfortunately, there's no lightning this morning, so my lightning lanes did not turn into experience redemptions. That means I need to hurry up inside and tap in at something so that I can go ahead and book another lightning lane. You can't book another one with this system until you use one. So I'm gonna go get tapped in at Safaris. But before I do that, I do want to share with you how I was able to get these amazing lightning lane return times right as the park is opening. I've got Kilimanjaro Safaris at 8 a.m. I've got Expedition Everest right behind it at 8:05 a.m. And then at 9:20 a.m., I have the most difficult to book ride in this entire park, Navi River Journey. So in order to show you how I pulled off that feat, we're going to use the magic of editing to take you backwards through space and time to the moments when I booked those lightning lanes. Let's go. Well, my friends, it is just a little bit before midnight on our park day. Let's see what our lightning lane return times are looking like. You might notice that none of these times are overlapping each other. The reason for that is because the pre-booking system isn't going to let you overlap anything initially. Not lightning lanes, not even any dining reservations that you have. But I have a secret to share, and that is that at the stroke of midnight on your park day, that limitation is going to go away. And that's going to mean that you're going to be able to back things up and probably get much better times earlier in the day than you'd be able to get otherwise. Now, of course, you don't have to stay up until midnight. If you'd prefer, you can wake up early in the morning and do it, but I'm a bit of a night owl, so I prefer to do this at midnight. It's not quite midnight yet, however, so while we're waiting, I want to share with you some secrets you can use when you're pre-booking your lightning lanes. Now, you probably already know that if you're staying at a Disney Resort hotel, you can start pre-booking 7 days before you arrive. But it's important to know that 7 days is based on your check-in day, not your first park day. And on that 7 days before that check-in day, you can actually book for every single day that you're staying in that hotel. So that means that if you're staying in the hotel for a week, you can start booking 7 days before that check-in day all the way to the end of that week. So you're potentially 14 days out at that point, and that gives you a huge jump on other folks who have to wait until closer to their park day. Now, if you're not staying at a Disney Resort hotel, but you have a date-based ticket that is a multi-day park ticket, this is one of those tickets where you set how many days you're going to come to the parks for, and you set the first day that you're going to be eligible to enter. There's a little secret that a lot of people don't realize, and that is that you can actually pre-book your lightning lanes 3 days before that first day of eligibility. not the first day that you enter the parks. So let's say that you're planning for your first park day to be on a Thursday. Instead of making that Thursday your first day of eligibility, however, you might want to consider making it that Tuesday or Wednesday before. Those extra couple of days can give you a huge advantage on folks who have to wait until 3 days before their park visit. Now I'm going to show you another little secret that you can use when you're planning out those multi-pass days in the parks. Let's go ahead and open up the menu and tap on lightning lanes like we were going to purchase multi-pass. But instead of purchasing, I want you to scroll down and you'll see a little link down there that lets you view the price by park. Tap on that and you're going to see a calendar that's going to show you prices for all of the coming days in all 4 parks. Now this is hugely valuable information because Disney is essentially showing you which parks are going to be less crowded on certain days. Disney makes multi-pass more expensive on the days that it expects the parks to be more crowded. And believe me when I tell you, Disney has the best data on this. They know when people are coming to the parks. So if you want to go to the parks on less crowded days and save some money on Lightning Lane multi-pass, take a look at this calendar right before your visit. Well, it is about to strike midnight, so I'm going to go ahead and start modifying these lightning lanes and we'll see what we can get. And boom, it literally only took me 1 minute to back up Expedition Everest to 8:05. So now I have 2 rides right there at Park Open at 8 o'clock. I spent about 10 minutes playing with Navi River Journey and I was able to get it back to 2 p.m. I'm guessing though I'm going to be able to get that even earlier in the morning, but for right now I am exhausted. So I'm going to hit the sack and I'll meet you all back in the park. Welcome back, my friends. You're actually just in time to tap in for a very rainy safari. Let's go do it. I love doing a safari in the rain just because the animals sometimes do unusual things you wouldn't see them doing otherwise. I definitely never seen the lionesses on top of the Kopi rocks before. I'm not talking like on the Kopi rock structure. I'm talking about on the very tippy top of the Kopi rocks. Is that something that they do in the rain? I don't know. Never seen that before. I would stop and ask somebody, but unfortunately, we're in a mad dash because I really want to show you another secret that we learned on our recent Lightning Lane challenge. Actually, we didn't learn it. Our friends from Lost in a Wonderland learned it. They were tapping in for Navi River Journey, which is the ride we're heading to right now. And when they got there, they were a little bit too early. And so they asked the cast member how early they would be allowed to tap in. Now, the rule that I've always heard is that you can tap in 5 minutes before your Lightning Lane begins and up to 15 to 20 minutes after it ends. Now, we're going to show you later in this video that ending time, that's definitely, let's just say, very flexible. You can usually be way longer than 20 minutes late, but I've never heard that you were able to be more than 5 minutes early. This cast member told them that they could tap in 14 minutes early, not 15. They couldn't do it 15 minutes early, but exactly 14 minutes early, it was gonna let them tap in. So Scott and Jen waited until it was exactly 14 minutes before their Lightning Lane was scheduled to begin. They tapped in and it went green, which meant that they were free to board the ride. So if it goes blue, that means that you're too early or you don't have a Lightning Lane or some other issue has happened. But if it glows green, generally speaking, you're waved on in. All right, we're here at Navi River Journey. We're about 10 minutes early, so this is 5 minutes earlier than I've ever tried to tap into a lightning lane before. I'm very skeptical about this secret, but who knows? It worked for Scott and Jen. Maybe it's gonna work for us. Let's find out. I can't believe that actually worked. Future Rob here with some breaking news from the future. I apologize for interrupting your lightning lane video, but just in case anyone was going to maybe stop watching early and think that that trick was going to work at every ride you go to at Walt Disney World, I'm here to tell you this is not the most reliable secret. Yes, it does work actually at Navi River Journey, but as you're going to see in this video, it does not necessarily work everywhere. And now we will return you to your regularly scheduled lightning lane video. I was really hoping that when we came out from that relaxing ride on Navi River Journey that the rain was going to have cleared away and the sun was going to be out and we were going to be able to enjoy the rest of our day. Sadly, that has not happened yet. It's coming, I promise. The sun is coming. But the good news is this rain is actually making it really easy for us to book our next lightning lanes. As I mentioned before, when it's a really rainy morning, a lot of times people just don't want to get out in that rain. And so they start modifying their lightning lanes and making them later in the day to avoid the rain. Well, guess what happens when they do that? You can swoop in and grab them. That's actually what I did. I didn't mention it before because I was in a rush to get over to Navi River Journey, but as soon as I tapped in over at Kilimanjaro Safaris, our first lightning lane, I was able to grab Slinky Dog Dash literally almost immediately. I didn't have to play the slots at all. If you're not familiar with that term, playing the slots, I use that in a lot of my videos. It basically just means refreshing your view to see if more lightning lane return times are available so you can grab a better one. Being able to grab Slinky Dog Dash for early in the afternoon is a huge coup. We're here on a Saturday. Definitely is not normal that you should be able to grab Slinky Dog Dash at that time of the morning for 2:40 in the afternoon. For right now though, I want to try to back up the lightning lanes that I have this morning, try to tidy them up and get those times a little bit earlier. I'm going to show you guys a few more secrets that can help you do that. But first, I'm going to take you to one of my favorite secret spots here at Animal Kingdom. We're gonna head to a spot that is right between Africa and Asia. There's a little path that a lot of people don't even notice. And if you follow that path, you're gonna find a shaded spot with tables where you can get out of the sun, or in this case, out of the rain. And it's the perfect place to play the Disney slots. Let's go do it. We have made it to our shady oasis between Africa and Asia, and now I'm going to share with you some more of my favorite secrets for booking the best lightning lanes here at Walt Disney World. Before we do that though, let's really quickly go over the basics of using Lightning Lane MultiPass. So MultiPass is different from Single Pass. There's two flavors of Lightning Lane. With Single Pass Lightning Lanes, which we're going to show a little bit later in this video, for those attractions, you pay for that one ride and that one ride only. So you book that one ride, you ride that ride, you're done. With Lightning Lane MultiPass, however, you're booking almost every other ride in Walt Disney World. They're all available to you. And the way that the system works is that you have 3 slots at all times. Whenever you use up one of those lightning lanes that you have booked, you can go ahead and book another one. So this means that even though you only start out with 3 lightning lanes, during the course of your day, if you play your cards right, you can end up booking a whole lot more than that. So let's take a look at the rides that we have booked right now. So I still have that Expedition Everest that I haven't ridden yet. I'm kind of waiting for the rain to slow down. I also have Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway over at Hollywood Studios. I have Rock and Roller Coaster there in Hollywood Studios. And finally, I have Slinky Dog Dash. Wait a minute. That's four. Four lightning lanes. I just got through telling you that you have 3 slots. How is it possible that I have 4? This is one of my favorite lightning lane secrets. And that is that when a lightning lane expires, it's going to allow you to book another one. So my Expedition Everest was technically from 8:05 in the morning until 9:05 in the morning. As I said earlier, you do have a grace period on the end of that. So that lightning lane still exists. I still have it in my back pocket. It's expired, but it hasn't really expired. That allowed me to book another lightning lane in its place, which meant that I have 4 lightning lanes right now. So how long is that expired lightning lane actually good for? I think it's important to say at this juncture that technically, according to Disney, you have 5 minutes before, which we've just discovered, maybe you have more than that, and you have 15 minutes after. Some cast members will say 20, but 15 to 20 minutes after is the official amount of time you have once it expires. But in our experience, we have been able to tap into lightning lanes up to 1 hour and 59 minutes after they expire. Now, once they hit that 2-hour mark, they turn into pumpkins. They're gonna glow blue when you try to tap in. The cast member might still be kind and let you go through, but technically speaking, once you're 2 hours late, that's when they're really and truly donezo. We're actually going to use that trick to our absolute advantage today. We're going to try to head to all 4 parks, and that secret is going to make our lives a lot easier. For right now, though, I'm glad that it means that I can sit here out of the rain, wait for it to pass, and then go ride Expedition Everest, because I really don't love it when Expedition Everest turns into a water ride. I much prefer to ride it when it's not raining. And since we do have a little bit of time, I want to show you another secret that's going to help you book really tough to book rides, like, for example, Slinky Dog Dash. I'm going to go back and show you how I booked Slinky Dog earlier this morning. The very first thing I did was not to book the lightning lane. The first thing I did was actually to use Disney Genie. Now, you may think that Disney Genie is long gone. They got rid of the Disney Genie Plus service and replaced it with Lightning Lane MultiPass, but the Disney Genie is still there in the app. He's there to actually make it a little bit easier for you to book lightning lanes, and he'll also offer suggestions to help you enjoy your day here at the parks. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to show you how we can help you book lightning lanes. Head over to that main menu screen, scroll down until you see today's plans. There's a little genie icon there. Tap on that. It's going to ask you what day it is that you're planning for and which park you're headed to. In our case, even though we started Animal Kingdom, we're going to choose Hollywood Studios because that's where I want to try to book Slinky Dog Dash. It's going to ask you who's going with you, and then it's going to come the most important question. It's going to ask you what rides you're most interested in. On this screen, it's important that you only pick 1 or 2 rides that you're actually trying to book at that moment. That's because this system is actually going to pin those rides to the top of your screen when you're booking lightning lanes. So for us, we're only going to choose Slinky Dog Dash. That way, that attraction is right there at the top. Now, when we go to book our lightning lanes in the tipboard screen, you'll see right there at the top when we switch over to Hollywood Studios is Slinky Dog Dash. At the time that we looked, there were no lightning lanes available, but that was fine because we can refresh that view and continually see that ride right there at the top. And with any luck, a time is going to pop up. And sure enough, for us, it did. I'm talking just a minute or so after we started trying to book. I hadn't even made it through the queue at Kilimanjaro Safaris, and I was able to have Slinky Dog Dash booked. Now, a lot of that was due to the fact that it's a rainy morning. That definitely worked to our advantage. But also, seeing that ride right there pinned to the top is what makes it easy for me to tap in and grab it before someone else. This system is extremely competitive. in milliseconds, other people can tap in and grab lightning lanes. And if they tap in before you, then guess what? Poof, that lightning lane is gone and you're gonna have to try again. So pinning is the most important secret, really, that you're going to use all day long. And we'll show you a little bit later how to change the rides that you have pinned. But for right now, I'm pleased to say that the rain has finally passed. So we're going to head on over and ride Expedition Everest. Absolutely love Expedition Everest. It's my favorite ride in all of Walt Disney World, but I gotta say, nothing went right back there. First off, I waited just a little bit too long. So you remember how I said you've got an hour and 59 minutes, but once it hits 2 hours past the expiration, it's not gonna go green, it's gonna go blue. I was 2 minutes late. It was actually 11:06. If I had been there at 11:04, would have been fine. That would have been just under the wire. But because it was 11:06, it went blue. Thankfully, the cast member was very kind and allowed me to still go on, especially considering the rain. They know everybody's changing their plans a little bit. But then the whole reason that I was late was because I was trying to wait for the rain to stop. Wouldn't you know, as soon as I sat down, the rain started back. The good news is the rain has finally stopped, and we have now ridden everything we plan to ride here at Animal Kingdom. So we are headed off to Hollywood Studios. While we're making our way over though, I want to share with you how you can change those rides that are pinned to the top of your screen, because you're going to want to be doing that all throughout the day so that whichever ride you're aiming for is the one that's pinned. Let's start with the simplest way of doing this. If you're staying in the same park, all you've got to do is go to that tipboard screen, and up at the top, you're going to see a little button for Edit Selections. Tap on that, and that's going to let you choose which rides you want pinned instead of the one you have there. But what if you want to start planning for a different park? This is where things are a little bit more complicated. We're going to head back to that My Day section where the Genie was, but we're not going to tap on the Genie again. We're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and there we're going to see a button that says Plan for your next park. Tap on that, and this is essentially going to take you through that whole process again. It's going to ask you which park you're planning for and which rides you're most interested in. Once you do this, you can switch over to that park, and voila, the rides that you have chosen are there pinned to the top. And best of all, it still remembers your selections from the other parks. So if you wanted to continue booking things where you're at, you can have things pinned in both parks. So now, my friends, it is time to hop over to park number 2. I think I can maybe finally take off this raincoat, and I will meet you at Hollywood Studios. We have arrived here at Hollywood Studios, and we have 5 lightning lanes in our pocket, my friends. So back in the old days of Disney Genie Plus, one of the best things you could do with that system was something called stacking. With the old Genie Plus system, every 2 hours after you booked a lightning lane, you could book another one. So what folks would do is they would book lightning lanes later in the day, wait 2 hours, book again, and they could come to the park in the afternoon with a whole bunch of rides. Now, that's not really possible with Lightning Lane Multipass because you can't start booking other attractions. In fact, you can't even start booking in other parks or multiple top tier rides until you've tapped in at least one attraction. So you do still have to get up in the morning and head to the park with Lightning Lane Multipass. But As you can see, if you exploit this little secret of being able to tap into lightning lanes up to an hour and 59 minutes late, it does allow you to get several rides lined up all at one time, and that's what we're doing now. I'm gonna go ahead and tap in here at Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Unfortunately, that's not going to free me up to book another attraction. The reason for that is this one's already expired, and this is an important thing to keep in mind when you're using this little secret we're sharing. You can only book another attraction either once one of your lightning lanes that hasn't expired yet expires, or when you tap into one of those lightning lanes that hasn't expired yet. Tapping into this one does nothing for us. It's already expired. We've already been able to book another lightning lane in that slot. I am going to go ahead and tap in though, just because it's right here and I don't want to be stressed out about missing that 1 hour and 59 minute cutoff where it goes from green to blue. So let's head on over and tap into Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Was a delightful little spin with Mick and Min, and now I am famished. So I'm gonna head next door to ABC Commissary and grab some lunch. And while we're there, I'm gonna share with you some more of my favorite lightning lane secrets. Let's go do it. ABC Commissary is one of the most underrated quick service restaurants at Disney World. Not only does it have one of my favorite sandwiches, the buffalo chicken grilled cheese, it also has some really great healthy options. So I'm skipping the buffalo chicken today, and I'm going to get the Mediterranean salad and the arugula and farro salad. These are really great choices. It's actually, that combo is really filling. But of course, we're not here today to talk about restaurant secrets. We're here to talk about lightning lane secrets. And since I've been sitting here, I've been adjusting my lightning lanes a little bit. That's one thing I always recommend you do. You don't have to keep whatever time that you've already booked. You can always modify those and just push them back or forward if you need to make them work better with your plan. But the secret I wanted to share with you, it's not actually related to Lightning Lane Multi-Pass. It's related to Lightning Lane Single Pass, that other version of Lightning Lane that lets you book individual attractions. Here at Hollywood Studios, you can book Rise of the Resistance. Over at Magic Kingdom, it's Tron and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. At Animal Kingdom, it's Flight of Passage. And at Epcot, it's Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. If you want to ride any of those rides with the Lightning Lane, you do have to book the single pass Lightning Lane for those attractions. Unfortunately, a lot of times, if you aren't staying at a Disney hotel, which lets you book your initial Lightning Lanes 7 days out, it can be very hard to get one of those limited single pass Lightning Lane slots. Everybody else has to wait until 3 days before their park day before they can book, and usually most of those attractions are all booked up. But don't worry, my friends, you can use the same tricks that we've been showing you for Lightning Lane Multi-Pass to find those Lightning Lane Single Pass attractions. All you need to do is edit your selections just like you do for Multi-Pass, and this time we're actually going to choose some of those Single Pass rides. Now we're going to have those rides pinned to the top, and when we open up our tipboard screen and we refresh our view, it's going to go back and look and see if maybe some times have come available. Sure enough, I was able to grab a time for later tonight for Rise of the Resistance, but unfortunately, I did not tap through fast enough. You've got to be really quick with this. So you need to select your party and then continue to the next screen really quickly, or else someone else will grab that time slot. I missed out on it the first time, but I went in and tried again, and I was able to get it on my second try. Now, of course, a lot of folks don't love having to constantly check their phone to see if those attractions have come back online. For that, I have another little lightning lane secret that I've actually never shared before. The reason I've never shared this is because I don't actually use this secret myself, but it is true that you can ask Uncle Google to tell you about when certain rides drop additional lightning lanes throughout the day. There are some websites out there that keep an eye on these things, and they will let you know what specific times for what certain rides you're looking for that you're likely to find more lightning lanes reappear. This is because Disney keeps more or less to a schedule, not always. This is not something you can count on, but there are certain times of the day where you're more likely to find those lightning lanes pop up. Now, I don't use this secret personally because it's a little bit like cheating, but more importantly, you miss out on other opportunities. This is just going to show you when Disney is likely to drop some times. They could drop times at other points during the day. You're also missing out on the chance to pick up times that other people have canceled. With multipass and with single pass, people can reschedule their times. And when they do that, their existing time comes back into play. So if you're only looking at the app during those specific windows of time, you miss out on additional opportunities that would pop up at other points in the day. That said, this is a strategy you can use, and I can tell you, lots of people have reported to me in the comments, these times usually work. So do with that information what you will. But right now, I've got to make a mad dash over to Rock and Roller Coaster because we're about to run out of time to tap into that lightning lane. Let's go do it. Well, that, my friends, was a jam good time, but now we are going to head over to a galaxy far, far away because in just 5 minutes, we'll be able to try out our 14-minute early tap-in again. It worked for us at Navi River Journey, which is where it worked for our friends at Lost in a Wonderland during the challenge, but I'm really curious, is it going to work here at Hollywood Studios? In order to find out, though, we're going to set our coordinates for Batu. I'll meet you guys at the Millennium Falcon. Womp, womp, womp. So it didn't work here. The early tap-in didn't work at Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which makes me think it's almost certainly not going to work at Slinky Dog Dash. We'll find out. I don't know. Maybe this thing only happens at Animal Kingdom. Maybe it only happens at Navi River Journey, but it's not much of a helpful secret if you can only use it at Navi River Journey. We're going to keep trying the other day. Let's see if we can find some other attractions that allow the early tap-in. For right now, though, we got some coaxium to steal. Let's go ride Smuggler's Run. Well, that was doubly disappointing. Number one, our secret didn't work. We weren't able to tap in early at this attraction. Now, we would have been able to tap in at the usual 5 minutes early, just it seems beyond that did not work here. The other thing that's a bummer is we got held up in there. There was a delay with the attraction, so now we're too late to try it at Slinky Dog. We're gonna basically arrive at Slinky Dog right on time. But that's okay, because I have another theory, and that is that maybe this trick only works on Tier 2 attractions. Over at Animal Kingdom, there are no tiers, so essentially everything, including Navi River Journey, is a Tier 2. Here at Hollywood Studios, the ride we just did, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, is a Tier 1, meaning that early in the day you can only have one of those attractions booked until you tap into something and unlock yourself to book more. So maybe, just maybe, this 14-minute thing only works at Tier 2 attractions. So to test that out, I have gone ahead and booked us a Star Tours ride a little bit later. So we're gonna go ride Slinky now, but then we're gonna go try and see if we can tap in 14 minutes early at Star Tours. Let's go do it. All right, so we've officially hit 14 minutes away from our return time here at Star Tours. I just remembered though, they don't have normal tap-in points here right now. They kind of tap you in with a device. So I guess I'm gonna ask the cast member to see, does the device say that I'm okay to enter, or does it say that it's not my time yet? This one is probably an imperfect test, so we're probably gonna have to keep trying, but let's see what happens. Well, my friends, this is starting to feel like a trick that only works on Navi River Journey. I can't imagine why it only works on Navi River Journey, but it did work there. We're going to continue to try this over at Epcot and Magic Kingdom. So who knows, maybe we'll find another jackpot, but so far we're coming up empty. On the other hand, where we are not coming up empty is in our Lightning Lane game. I kind of let Soarin' go. I mean, technically we still have Soarin', but it is really expired at this point. It's just kind of hanging out in there. We might go try to ride it, but I certainly wouldn't count on being able to ride Soarin' at this point. But that's okay, because we've been able to book Tiana's Bayou Adventure and Peter Pan's Flight. Those are pretty much the two most difficult to book Lightning Lanes over at Magic Kingdom. Haven't had any luck being able to book either Remy or Frozen today. Those are the two most popular at Epcot. I do, however, have Spaceship Earth at what I'm hoping is going to be an ideal time for us to try the 14-minute tap in there. But that's probably going to be our only stop in Epcot today. We're probably going to focus the rest of our energy over at Magic Kingdom. In general, though, we've had lots of luck with Lightning Lanes today, and that's kind of due to another little secret that a lot of people don't know about Lightning Lane Multipass, and that is smaller parties, specifically parties of 4 or less, tend to have better luck booking the most popular attractions with Lightning Lane Multipass than parties of 5 or more. We've experimented with this multiple times, and there does really seem to be something that happens when your party hits 5, that the most popular rides become a lot more difficult to book. Now, this doesn't affect less popular attractions. It seems to be about the same for rides that are like what you might consider Tier 2 attractions. But for those Tier 1 attractions, for those most popular rides, it's definitely easier for us in this video to book than it would be if you had a group of 5 or more. We are planning to remake our Lightning Lanes for a large group video later this year, and in that video you'll be able to see in more detail how this system works when your party gets larger. But right now it is time for us to switch gears, hop on the Skyliner, and head over to Epcot. What a beautiful day this has become. That was a lovely journey over here, but now it is the moment of truth. We have arrived at Spaceship Earth just in time. It is 14 minutes before we are supposed to be able to tap in. So let's see, does this trick work in Epcot? We will definitely keep trying this 14-minute thing while we're over at Magic Kingdom. We actually have a great lineup of rides booked over there. We've got 5 Lightning Lanes ready to go, including Tiana's Bayou Adventure and Peter Pan's Flight. Before that though, I want to leave you with one little piece of good news to balance out the fact that this 14-minute thing doesn't seem to be working out. So at that challenge where Scott and Jen discovered this 14-minute trick, we discovered that you could tap in 5 minutes early to your first ride of the day, even during early entry. So we already knew that you're allowed to tap in 5 minutes early at any lightning lane. It just never occurred to us that you could actually do that before the park even opened. We chatted with the cast members over at PhilharMagic. They confirmed it and we tried it out. And sure enough, it did work. You can tap in 5 minutes early for your lightning lane, even during early entry. And this can actually be a really huge benefit, because think about it. If you tap into your first ride before the park has even opened, you're going to get a big jump on the folks who are starting to book their next lightning lanes of the day, because they're going to all be doing it almost certainly after the park opens, and you can get one step ahead of them and maybe grab one of those tough to book rides like Tiana or Peter Pan's Flight. So there's a little dash of good news for you. Now let's head over to Magic Kingdom and see if maybe we can find some more. Let's go do it. Well, we are here now at our final park of the day. And for those of you who stuck around with us this far into the video, we've got a little special treat. We're gonna do a lightning round of lightning lane secrets. Now, most of these tips I'm gonna share right now are from our different lightning lane guides that we do to Disney World. We'll put a link down in the description below to all of our different lightning lane guides, but I definitely recommend, if you're new to lightning lane, you're going to want to check those out before you come, because they have a lot more detail in them than we're able to do in this video. But here are a few of my favorite secrets that we share in those videos. Number one is that you always want to be modifying a lightning lane rather than booking it from scratch. The reason for that is, watch what happens when I book a lightning lane from scratch. It's going to ask me who's in my party. And by the time I've answered that question, it's possible that that time I was aiming for, or potentially that ride altogether, is going to be gone. I wouldn't be able to get it because I wasn't fast enough. However, if I book something and then I modify that lightning lane that I just booked, it's going to use the party that I've already selected for that booking. It's not going to ask me to specify a party. It's going to be one step less, which means you're more likely to get that tough to grab lightning lane you're aiming for. Bonus lightning lane tip number 2 is what I like to call the tap in, tap out method. Now, it's important to note this one doesn't work as well as it used to. You can only use this method when you're aiming for a lightning lane that still has times available for the day. So if you're aiming for a lightning lane that's out of times and you're just trying to get one to show up, this trick won't work. But in all other cases, it does. So the way that this one works, you're just gonna go ahead and tap on whatever time is showing up for the ride that you're aiming for. When it goes to the next screen, it's actually gonna look and see if there's a better time available. In some cases, it may show you a better time on the next screen, or it may show you a worse time if someone's already grabbed that one you were tapping on. But whatever happens, if you're not happy with what you see here, just tap back out and then don't refresh. Just tap in again. The reason I love this method is because you're essentially doing the refresh every time you tap in, and if you like what you see, you've got it. You've already got it in your pocket. You don't have to tap in quickly. You've already done the tap. So that's a really good lightning lane secret for grabbing tough to grab times for rides that still have times available. And my third bonus lightning lane secret is to make sure that you grab those most popular lightning lanes early in the day, because if you don't grab them early, it's going to become a lot harder to grab them later. Now, we talk about that in a lot of our videos, but here's the secret I want to share with you. In our videos, we kind of teach you which rides those are, and it is helpful to know them. However, you don't have to memorize those, because the app is actually going to kind of show you which rides are the ones that you need to be aiming for. Just go ahead and open up that tipboard screen Whichever rides are showing the latest return times or potentially showing no return times at all, those are the rides you need to aim for. Now, you definitely do want to keep an eye on this because these things do change throughout the day. One ride that looks like that it's golden might start running out of lightning lanes later, so keep on top of it. But this is a really easy peasy way for you to know which rides you need to book first. Well, we're here at Peter Pan's flight, so we're going to go ahead and tap in and we're just going to burn through all these rides we have booked, and who knows, maybe we'll even book a few more. I think this is the perfect moment for a ride montage. Let's go do it. All right, we have arrived here at Storybook Circus for our final test of this 14-minute early tap-in trick. I think it's safe to say if it doesn't work here at the Barnstormer, this is not really a secret. I think it only probably works at Navi River Journey, but we're gonna give this one last try and see, can we tap in 14 minutes early at the Barnstormer? Let's find out. Well, I think we can officially put this one to bed. There is no 14-minute early tap-in for Lightning Lane. It's just a weird quirk at Navi River Journey. Who knows how long it's going to last there. Maybe they're going to fix it. But I do want to give a quick thank you to all the different cast members who let me try this out today. I did let each of them know what I was doing before I tapped in, so I didn't put them in an awkward position. I'm not going to continue testing this anymore. I feel pretty good that it's not a thing that really works. Well, I've now booked pretty much every Lightning Lane I would want to book for this park, so let's burn through the rest of these rides and I'll see you at the finish line. What an incredible day we just had. I hope you found this day helpful in planning your next visit to Walt Disney World. If it did, be sure to stay tuned to our channel because we're going to be remaking all of our Lightning Lane guides to the different parks for 2025. Those are going to be heading your way really soon. So if you haven't done it already, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell. That way you'll be notified as soon as they come out. Before we go, I want to give a huge thank you to our Patreon family. Thank you so much for making videos like this possible. If you'd like to join them and get access to exclusive bonus content, head on over to patreon.com/earscouts. And of course, I want to thank all of you. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, don't forget to think happy thoughts, everybody. We'll see you again real soon.